Hey. A little bit of faffing around and we should be there. Let's see what's going on. No, I don't think anybody's asked to join yet. I hope you can hear me. I'll pull it up on my phone, see if anyone's engaging. And now you're going to be about 30 seconds behind everything I say, because that's what Facebook does for you when you go live. Not sure why, but it does appear we are live, so that's good. So if you can hear me, please say hi. Let me know that you can hear me, and we'll just give it a few minutes to let a few more people get online. Good evening, everyone. Matthew Long here once again. Just got to check my temperature. I'm just clearing my desk a little bit because I've got stuff everywhere. I have tidied up as well, but no background today, just my office space, my lovely clinic room, my lovely log cabin. And please just give me a thumbs up, let me know you can hear me, give me a funny symbol, something to let me know everything's working, because I'm not sure if it is. We seem to have video, and we seem to have everything connected as per it should be. So we're talking about the 6 human needs tonight. Just waiting for a few more people to jump online. I have got my comments up on my phone, so if you can see me having a look down here, you know what I'm looking at. So, oh, yeah, you can hear me. Thank you very much for your replies there, ladies. Nice to see you, Tina. Nice to see you, Tina. There's 2 Tinas, that's why I said it twice. Lovely name. So, now, if you ever want to look at the 6 human needs in much more detail, there's people who've got YouTube videos on it and all sorts, but we're going to keep it fairly simple tonight. I'm a simple person, what can I say? And please do ask any questions as we go through, and if I see them jump up on Facebook on my phone here, then of course I will answer as best I can. Or if you want to join me by clicking the Zoom Connect button, whatever it is called on the page, on the post that I put on earlier, then please do join me, and then we can get some live interaction, which is always better for the soul. Yeah. Just going to give a few more minutes. We've only got a couple of people joined us so far, and it's always nice to have people watching it live. I don't want people to miss out if they are just a little bit late joining. I was almost late joining myself. Had a lovely roast dinner, which my lovely wife cooked for me. And I'm feeling a little bit bloated right now. Glass of wine and a roast dinner. Whoa, it could do with an afternoon nap, but it's evening and it'll be too late. And I'll fall asleep now. I won't sleep well tonight. So here we go. Yes. Hi, Andy. Nice to see you, mate. Sorry, just in case you haven't seen, I'm looking at the phone down here. Nobody wanting to join me on Zoom live. Bit of a shame. You're too shy. Am I that scary? I wouldn't like to think so. Okay. So the 6 human needs, there's been a lot of talk about them by various gurus, including people like Tony Robbins. If you've never heard of him, he's a well-renowned sort of life coach, if that's what you want to call him. And well, he's made a fortune at it, if nothing else. But he has an amazing intuition when he's talking to people on what he's picking up, body language, whatever it is. I don't know. It's absolutely fantastic the way he just seems to know what question to ask next. And sometimes when you watch some of his videos, he asks questions which you weren't anticipating at all of what was coming next. And as someone who does a little bit of life coaching and business coaching, and certainly with the hypnotherapy, helping people get rid of blocks, anxieties, all the rest of it, you do pick up body language. You do pick up things on a level beyond normal reasoning, if I can say that. because sometimes things just pop into my head and it just happens to be the right question at the right time. But am I on the same level as Tony Robbins? Probably not. If I let my ego get in the way, of course I am. But we're talking about the 6 human needs. Now, one of the great things about having a list like this, the 6 human needs, and I'll put them in the notes for you to just be able to look at and refer to anytime you like. And like I say, do please ask questions and pop them in. It seems to be working on my phone this week. It wasn't working last time. We're doing these videos about every 3 weeks. My collar's stuck. We're doing these videos about every 3 weeks. I think 4 weeks is a bit long. 2 weeks is too much. If you're happy with it doing it every 3 weeks, then do also let me know about that as well. Or if you prefer, we moved it to monthly or fortnightly, do let me know. I don't mind. I can do this from anywhere. And hopefully in the summer, I'll be doing this from my caravan, wherever I end up in my caravan, which would be nice. So, but I won't stop. I'll make sure I don't have too many wines on that Sunday afternoon. And I'll still be able to hopefully talk into a camera without slurring too much. You've got to get away. You've got to do some stuff. You've got to have a nice work-life balance. And there's lots to look forward to this summer because we are now lifting out of lockdown, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a third wave like a lot of countries have. You know, there's been articles out on the news about reaching herd immunity tomorrow, Monday, where we've got over 75% of the population with antibodies. So that's great news, whether you know, whatever your beliefs are. It's great news nonetheless, because they won't have any excuse to put us in lockdown. So the 6 human needs, why do we need them? Let me just list them off so you can read it off the list if you want to. The first one is certainty. It's probably one of the most powerful ones that we need as a human being, the certainty to know what's going to happen. And if we know what's going to happen, then we can plan, we can react, we can make sure everything's good. And when we're in a position of certainty, we're comfortable, which is nice. We like that. So the second one is the absolute opposite, which is uncertainty. And we need that. We need that adventure in our lives. We need that fear of the unknown. We need that get up and go that it gives us. And that's a great thing to have to keep us stimulated. It's probably one of the reasons why the human race has done so well, by having certainty and uncertainty at the same time. You know, not knowing where your next meal is coming from, but also knowing where the good hunting grounds are to go and get your next meal. So you've got both there. So, but you know, we need that certainty to keep us comfortable. We also need that bit of uncertainty to have variety and keep us stimulated and interested in life. Now, the third one is significance. We're going to go through these in a lot more depth. We're just going to quickly run through basically what they are. The third one is significance. We need to feel significance, whether that's significant with another person, significance at work, significance at home, significance in different aspects of our life. We need to feel significant, because if we don't feel significant, then we feel quite often we'll get depressed. So we definitely need significance in our life. And it's nice to feel needed. It's nice to feel wanted. And, you know, when we do get that, someone telling us that we're valuable, then we need, you know, it's a nice feeling. It gives us a nice endorphin rush, gives us a good kick, and quite often makes us strive to be even better. The fourth one then is connection, love. We need that. That is one need that we do need. We need a strong feeling of closeness. It doesn't have to be a loving partner as such. It could just be a really close friend or a really close family member, someone you can confide in, someone you can share stories with. And having that connection with people, that physical connection, and I don't mean sex, I mean, you know, being able to give someone a hug, that physical connection, that feeling, doesn't have to actually have contact. You have a physical feeling when you see these people, when you spend time with these people, that makes you feel better. So we do need that closeness of union with partners, friends, whoever. The fifth human need then is growth. We need to continue to grow. Now, we quite often go through ups and downs in our life where we're stagnant, and then we start feeling we need something else, and that's when we need to find growth. It might be that you find a new hobby, a new sport. It might be that you get learning books, whatever, start learning something new, get interested in something, following stuff online, or following someone particular that you watch videos over and over again, whatever it is. But we need to have that growth within us to keep expanding our knowledge. Okay. And the final and sixth contribution, sixth human need is contribution. Okay, we do feel great when we have helped someone out, when we've contributed into society, when we've done a hard day's work and we get paid for it. Of course, there's a double whammy there. But quite often when we're actually helping and volunteering, we feel so much better. And we feel great about supporting others. And that comes back way back from caveman times when we're in a tribe and looking after each other. It makes us feel good. It's almost like it's been something that's been nurtured through evolution, whatever you want to call it, that by helping others, it makes us feel good. So therefore, we've got a better chance of survival as a group rather than, not helping people and end up on your own. So those are the basic 6 human needs, and we're going to go through them in a lot more detail. Okay, I want to say a lot more. And then we're going to talk about what we need afterwards. What's going to happen if we don't have one of them or all of them? How are we going to act? How are we going to respond? How are we going to feel? So we're going to dive into that at the end. So we're going to look a bit more about certainty as probably the main human need that we need. So we like to have secure jobs. We like to know that our paycheck's coming in monthly. Quite often we'll pay a little bit extra to pay on direct debit to know exactly what's going out each month, rather than not knowing what's coming out each month. It might vary. So fixed rate mortgage, whatever you want to call it, having that fixed amount each month, you might pay slightly more, but it's not going to suddenly go up, it's not going to suddenly go down, it's going to stay the same, and hopefully you'll end up being better off, especially if interest rates suddenly go up. So having that certainty gives you a nice comfort, warm, fluffy feeling. And if anyone does ask any questions, I'll keep checking as I'll go through each one. So please do fire away on Facebook, or if you want to join me on Zoom. I think I've given up on that one. I don't think anyone's going to join me on Zoom tonight. That's fine. But please do ask questions on the Facebook, and I'll pick it up and try and answer it before we finish. But yeah, we need that certainty. Okay. One of the things we find difficult, of course, is change, when everything suddenly becomes very uncertain. And we have to find ways to motivate ourselves to go through that change. And it can be quite difficult. Changing, a job can be exciting, but also can, your first day at work in your new job, you're going to be apprehensive, you're going to be nervous, but you could be excited at the same time. And you've lost all that certainty because you just don't know what's going to happen. But that leads straight on to the uncertainty and how it can drive us forward. So we do need that certainty of comfort and everything else. And that gives us a chance to have a less stressful life. Let's face it, if you're certain exactly what's going to happen, then you're not going to be stressed at all. You're not going to be anxious at all. But when we get into the realms of uncertainty, we get all sorts of experiences from uncertainty. It can be excitement to the extreme sports. There's always a level of uncertainty with extreme sports because you never know exactly what's going to happen. You try and mitigate all the dangers by doing it. Like me today, I should have worn shin pads when I'm cycling, as I found out when the pedal hit my shin and got a few cuts. Nothing too badly damaged, though. But that uncertainty. But the great thing, doing something like mountain biking, is you just don't know what's going to happen. I might use the same route over and over again, but the ground is different, the wind is different, whatever, and that can all affect everything that's going on your bike. And today out there, the ground was so dry and powdery in places that tires were slipping all over the place. And it gives you that woohoo feeling as you're going around corners sometimes. Well, then, of course, you get the bit where you slip too much and you trash your shin on your pedal. But, that's the excitement of doing something like that, mountain biking. Love it. But we need that uncertainty in our lives to make us feel a little bit excited, a little bit nervous, get that adrenaline jolt going, and we should never be afraid of being afraid. It might sound a bit controversial, but that little bit of fear and taking risks is stimulating, it's exciting. And quite often when you get out on the other side of it, you get a massive endorphin rush, a right dopamine rush to make you feel good that you've achieved something through going through that uncertainty. So we need that. Another word for uncertainty, which I haven't mentioned, is variety. So we do need to mix things up a bit. Okay, we do need to mix things up a bit and experience lots of different things in life. A lot of the gurus, when asked about what is the meaning of life, why are we here on this earth? What are we here for? Yeah, what I'm sort of hearing a lot nowadays is that the answer they come up with is, we're here to experience life. Okay, now we can decide whether we make it a bad experience or a good experience, depending on how we want to react, respond. And we can choose some of the experiences that we want to experience, of course, whether we go traveling, whether we go and do sports, whatever it is. So we can choose some of our experiences. Some of the experiences are going to happen to us, and that's when we need to choose how we're going to respond. How are we going to respond, not only outwardly, but also inwardly? How are we going to feel about it? How do you want to feel about it? Do you want to feel anxious and stressed? Or would you rather feel, okay, this is a challenge? And it gets exciting then when you see things as a challenge, and you're in a more of a growth mindset, seeing everything as a challenge and ways to get around it and trying to solve a problem, rather than focusing on the problem and woe is me, it always happens to me, everything's bad, everything's against me. So we can decide how we're going to choose to feel about things that happen to us. So although that variety and uncertainty is great, it can have obviously negative times as well in our life. Death of a loved one. It's, there's nothing you can do about it. But we can choose whether we sit there and wallow, or we can talk about what a great life they had and celebrate the life that they had, rather than celebrating the death. And whether your views are different to that, these are my views. I'm not trying to put my views upon anyone, but that's just me. I prefer to celebrate people's life rather than celebrate their death. Look at the great things that people have done and what they meant to me in my life, rather than worrying about how much we're going to miss them. So at the end of the day, if you think about them a lot, you don't really miss them. They're still with you. It's great. So let's move on to the third one. And of course, it ties nicely, actually, significance. Okay. Just going to quickly check before we move on. No questions so far. Is that because I haven't refreshed it? I don't know. No questions. Okay. So significance. Of course, we love to feel significant. I have the pleasure of being in a job where people come to me for help. So that makes me feel significant, because they come to me for help. Hopefully I help them, and that makes me feel good. And when I get reviews on Facebook or on Google or wherever, and telling me that I've done a great job, it makes me feel good, makes me feel significant, makes everything worthwhile. So we certainly do need that significance. But we can also, it doesn't necessarily have to be in your work. It also needs to be in your home life. You need to feel significant when someone talks to you, or when you talk to them. You expect them to be listening. Okay, because if they're not listening, then it's almost like you're insignificant to them. So then therefore you won't feel significant. So do make a point, if you're on the other end of that, of making people feel significant around you, helping them feel significant. It's one of those human needs that we really do need. Otherwise we can seriously get depressed if we don't feel like anything we do is worthwhile. Even though you might be doing an absolutely fantastic job, if no one recognizes that you're doing a good job, then you probably won't get better at your job, because what's the point? No one's going to recognize it. And it's a great thing for managers and bosses to realize and understand that if you've got people underneath you, by making them feel significant, they're going to work harder for you. They're going to work better. They're going to be happier. They're going to be more productive. So significance can play a key role in whether a business is going to be a failure or a success. By making your staff, your workers feel significant, they're going to work above and beyond for you, okay, without asking for extra money. It's great. And one of the great quotes that Richard Branson said was, don't worry about looking after your customers, look after your staff, and your staff will look after your customers for you. By looking after your staff, making them feel significant, he can sit back and know that his staff are going to look after the customers. And that's a great way to look at it. Look after your staff and they'll look after your customers. Make them feel significant. And of course, what will happen is there'll be a roll-on effect. They'll make your customers, your clients feel significant. And if your clients and if your clients and your customers feel significant, they're going to come back, because they've had that connection. They were made to feel a bit special. Okay. And of course, you get loyalty from all that. Okay. It's a massive driving force behind human behavior, because if people like working for you because they feel significant, they feel it's worthwhile, then, like I said earlier, they're going to go above and beyond to make sure that the job gets done well. And it's a great place to be. Hey, hiya, Toasty Face. Great name. Look down in the comments if you're wondering what I'm talking about. I think that's Tina Ruffles' sister, isn't it? Yeah. Name like that? Sister? Brother? Don't know. Can't even tell by the picture. Looks like a female hand. Don't know what it is. Anyway, so we've gone through significance. And of course, if you're making people feel special, you're getting a connection. So this is the next one, connection and love. We love to connect with people. One thing we've certainly had the misfortune of suffering is a lack of connection over the last 12, 18 months, well, not 18 months, 12 months, 14 months as it's coming up next month, of not being able to see people, not being able to interact with people. One thing I used to love doing, being in a position being self-employed, and I work afternoons and evenings, is that I have a morning free. And I'd love to meet other self-employed people for coffee in the morning. Normally in a coffee shop. Of course, can't do that now at the moment. Hopefully we'll be able to soon. And it was because working from home all the time, and although I see customers and I see clients and I see, 20, 30 people a week, it's not the same as just sitting with someone and chatting and having a cup of coffee and having that connection and sharing experiences, sharing stories. And quite often it'd be with peers, as in people who do the same job as me. So we can talk about clients and customers and problems and pitfalls and all the rest of it. And but also other business people where we can talk about business and promoting your business and advertising and having that connection. It makes you feel good when you walk away because you've shared ideas, you've had a bit of a brainstorming session, put the worlds to right, whatever it is, and it's a great feeling. So we all need that connection and love. And this one of the driving forces, of course, as human beings, is to find a partner. Not necessarily for love and that kind of relationship, but to find a partner where you can share stuff. I love going mountain biking and kayaking with a mate of mine, and it wouldn't be the same on my own. I went on my own today, and I didn't work as hard. I didn't do as much, and it wasn't quite as enjoyable. But when you go with someone and you share an experience together, you have that connection with each other, and you're both enjoying it. It's a much more valid experience at the end of it, and it gives you a much better feeling of well-being afterwards. And it's one of the great things about it, sharing experiences. So you need that connection, that love for each other. We miss hugs for sure. Absolutely missing hugs at the moment. So can't wait to be able to give people a hug again. It'd be nice. Shaking hands. That's another one. It's going to be feeling weird when you start shaking hands again. I mean, you can shake hands now. Just make sure you do the alcohol straight away. Yeah, it's a strange feeling not being able to have that physical connection as we used to. But we can still have connection even over the internet, across the world, via Zoom and Facebook and all the rest of it. We can still have that connection. And it's one of the reasons why Facebook is so popular. It's because you can connect with people anywhere, and people connect back to you. And when people connect back to you, whether they send likes, love hearts, make comments, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel good. You can look for that, that next little rush that it gives you. But of course, it can have a detrimental effect as well, especially with something like social media. Excuse me, talking too much, I'm going to cough. With social media, is you have that little bit of an addiction to that little bit of adrenaline or endorphin that you get from someone commenting, how many likes you get, etc. And of course, then you worry about checking your phone all the time, and you have that FOMO, that fear of missing out. I've even heard doctors use that terminology. That they get lots of teenagers coming in with anxiety and stress because of FOMO, that fear of missing out, worrying that their friends are talking to each other and they're not talking to you and whatever. And of course, as teenagers, the hormones are running wild, and it makes everything seem a lot worse than it actually is. But when you're in the moment as a teenager, you can't see that. You just feel how bad it is. As an adult, especially as an adult of more senior years, you realize that a lot of these things are trivial, and you don't need the stress and anxiety in life. You just don't care. and you just move on, which is another great feeling. But we do need that connection, that love, and it's nice when people show their love, their connection with you, and express it verbally or physically or whatever. And one of the great things is, of course, is receiving the gift of love from someone. It really, really does sort of make you feel warm inside. You get butterflies, you get a physical sensation, as well as, you know, an emotional sensation. It's a lovely feeling. So moving on from connections and love. Any messages? No messages? Nobody wants to talk to me tonight? Oh, no, I've got some messages now. Well, hey. Ah, toasty face. Yes, it's the sister-in-law. Nice to see you. Tina Wheat, I miss hugging my grown-up children and my grandkids. I know where you're coming from there. Tina Ruffle, I'm a hugger. I'm not doing great. Well, hopefully it won't be too much longer and we can all hug each other. Share the love. So we're moving on to growth now. Those that, let's take this back a bit. When I was at school, I struggled learning. I struggled massively. I didn't realize at the time that I was dyslexic, and none of my teachers did, and they just told me I was useless. And so I never tried, I suppose, because I just thought, well, I just can't do it. And I never had the encouragement or anything else from people around me. So I left school with no qualifications. One thing great about joining the forces is that you don't get judged on your qualifications. Certainly as a lower rank anyway, and you go in and you just get judged on your performance, which is a much better way of being appreciated. But of course, if you do struggle on certain areas, they help you to get better at it, so you grow. The transition from civilian life into military is massive, and even though it's done when I joined up 16 weeks, it's now more like 30 weeks. And but for RAF Regiment Gunners, that is. Just joining the RAF, I think it's still 12 or 13 weeks, and you can be in the RAF, and then of course you go and learn a trade. But as an RAF Regiment Gunner, I had to do 16 weeks of training. But now, and I know from when I was an instructor, it was around 30 weeks altogether, and that went through phase 1, 2, and 3 training. But the growth and the change can be absolutely amazing. And of course, the feeling you get at the end of anything significant like that, any growth change like that, any massive achievement through trials and tribulations, and we can look back at the other stuff we've been talking about, then you're going to feel great. And it helps you to learn how to deal with stress and anxiety. It makes it more manageable. And it's a well-known fact that if you've had a stressful upbringing, you're actually more likely to cope with stress better because you've experienced it. It's like anything, you practice it, you get better at it. But it doesn't mean to say that it can't run out of control. Of course it can. And anxiety can be a learned behavior from parents. Anxious parents will pass that anxiety on to children, as well as, of course, you can learn it from friends, people who are close to you, etc. But the great thing about it is you can learn to grow out of these stressful and anxious situations. And to reach your full potential can take a lot of change, can take a lot of learning, can take a lot of commitment, but we all have the ability to do it. And some will be faster, some will be slower, it doesn't really matter. I'm one of the slow ones normally. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life until I was 46. Well, there you go. And that's when I left the Air Force at 48. So I started 2 years before I left, relearning something completely different with the soft tissue therapy. But one of the things that triggered for me, knowing that I was going to leave the Air Force, is a passion for learning. I started listening to audiobooks, a lot easier because I'm dyslexic rather than reading. I seem to watch lots more videos, learning stuff all the time. And not a week would go by without me learning something new, reading about some part of the body and how it works or something. And one of the great things I found in lockdown last year is an app or website called Blinkist.com. Blinkist takes audiobooks and condenses them into a 15-minute summary. Some of you may have heard me talking about this before. And I think I'm close to 160 audiobooks since last June. And it's like my brain has just become this massive sponge I know I've got a big head anyway, but it's just soaking up loads of knowledge and information. And I just can't, I listen to 2 or 3 a day some days. Some days I don't have the time, even though they're only 15 minutes long. Stuff gets in the way. But then other days, like today when I was going mountain biking, listen to one on the way there, listen to one on the way back, and listen to one when I'm tidying stuff up this afternoon. So, it's 3 books today that I've listened to that otherwise I may not have listened to, because you just don't have enough time. Some of the audio books I've listened to in the past off Amazon Audio, let's face it, that's where most of us listen to nowadays, were 14, 15 hours long. But now I can listen to the same book in a summary that only takes 15 to 20 minutes. And it just highlights all the bits that you need to know, all the information that you need, and it cuts out all the crap. It's great. And every time I complete one, I was like, yeah, it's another one I've listened to. Now I've learned something. Not every book you learn something from. Some of it repeats itself. Lots of people have written stuff about the same stuff, but it's that passion for growth, that passion for learning to reach my true potential, that potential that I feel I need to get to. And I'm certainly not there yet. What we do need to be careful of, though, is getting driven into perfectionism, because nothing's ever perfect. Okay, and we don't want to try and be perfect, because we'll just get sucked into trying to be perfect and nothing else will matter, and we neglect everything else. And that's no good at all, because then you're definitely not anywhere near perfect. So we need that balance still. And but we do, because of we need the variety. We need that self-fulfillment. We need to be bettering ourselves. We need to grow on the inside. It's a great endorphin feeling. It's a great feeling when you've learned something new, something you can put into practice. When I learn something new that I can help other people with, I absolutely love it. One of the reasons why I developed the anxiety and stress breakthrough system was because I've learned so much about stress and anxiety from myself, from having it and struggling with it, to then helping other people with it. And because it's such a difficult thing to help people with, you'd spend hours and hours and hours of trying to help someone. Whereas if I can put it in a course and trickle feed it over 6 weeks, you can then learn and practice things at your own pace, rather than you coming in for 10 hypnotherapy sessions, which would be a lot more expensive. Okay, so I feel, for me, doing something like that, making a course like that, is my way of everything I've learned of passing it on to other people, which of course means I am contributing to society, to people around me, which is the last and final human need: contribution. So from growth, I can then use that knowledge and impart it to others and contribute to someone else's life. And one of the things about life is helping those around you, experiencing life in itself, and having that nice feeling when you help people. Contributing, yes. The secret to living is giving. Wonderful saying. Don't know who said it. But those who experience contribution as one of their top human needs is usually someone who is known by a lot of people, because they're always out there making life better for other people. And that's a wonderful, wonderful trait to have. And we all do it to a certain extent, whether we help people we know who are close to us, whether we help people in the workplace. I like to mentor people who are bringing up or starting businesses up, who are in maybe a similar profession to me. And it makes me feel good, because I don't charge for that. I'll give them advice. I'll help them to advertise on Facebook, whatever it is, or maybe even get people over who are doing something similar, and we'll practice together, practice on each other, and that'll help build confidence. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with contributing and helping other people. And it is one of my things that I do find difficult when I see people maybe taking advantage a little bit on people online by a lot of the information, I suppose, is out there anyway. But they do seem to use people's emotions, shall we say, to try and trigger them to buy whatever. And it's one of the basics in selling techniques, is if you can trigger an emotion, then you're more likely to be able to sell to them. And Apple, very good at it in the early days. They're not doing so well now, but they, they triggered on an emotion of having a wonderful lifestyle, and everybody wants a better lifestyle, don't they? So that was one of the reasons why Apple did so well. It was always that. I can't even remember what their little saying was on their adverts now, but it was something about that anyway. So having the ability to contribute to people around you and to society is a wonderful thing, and we should never be shy in doing so. Just check in on the messages. Nice to see you, Sarah. Struggling with so much of this, yes. We'll talk about why we struggle with not having all our human needs met shortly. Cheers, Andy. Virtual hug back to you, mate. Hopefully you'll get lots of virtual hugs back from everyone else. Sarah, yes, you can reinvent yourself at any age. And like I say, I was 46 when I decided what I was going to do in my life. And I've reinvented myself again with doing hypnotherapy. So, yeah. Nice. I'm going to leave. Andy's got a nice little bit there, so I'll let you lot read it. I'm not going to repeat it on here. So yeah, contributing. So what we're going to look at now is we've got the 6 human needs. Let me just quickly run through them all. So we have certainty, uncertainty and variety. Then we have significance. We have connection and love. We have growth, that's self-growth, and contribution. Okay. If we've got all of those met in our life, then we're happy people. All right. We go for, we may have that certainty Monday to Friday of work, etc., and then we might have a bit of uncertainty at the weekend, like I do when I go mountain biking. You never know what's going to happen. Could get a puncture, could be anything. Could smash my shin off the pedal. Okay, so we need all these things in our life, and if we've got them all met, then we're balanced. We'll feel good. We'll be able to sleep at night. We're not going to be anxious, not going to be stressed. We're going to feel great. But as soon as you take one of these things away, even if you don't realize it and can't identify it, the subconscious will know, and it will start trying to find it. And it'll go into a state of stress. A little subconscious chimp brain, your monkey brain, whatever you want to call it. It'll start to go into a state of stress and anxiety to try and fulfill and find the thing to fulfill your human need that's missing. Okay. And quite often this can lead to depression. I mentioned that earlier, especially when it comes to significance. Not feeling significant can quite often lead to depression. So quite often dysfunctional behaviors will start to happen, and it could be something as simple as with stress, for example. Some of the first things you notice with stress is that short-term memory loss. That's the one. So yeah, you can't think straight, you can't focus, you can't concentrate, and life just gets a lot more difficult. Then it goes into the realms of things like insomnia and not sleeping properly. You might go to sleep well, but then you wake up early, or you might go to sleep early and then wake up early as well, or not go to sleep at all and feel like you've not slept when you wake up in the morning. So your subconscious is starting to go into a stress state and trying to find the thing that's missing. So I've written down or I've added the 6 things, human needs, into this on purpose, so that you can go through it afterwards and start making notes and just write down each heading. Use the little one-liner that you've got on next to each one to trigger what you need to do, and start writing where are your human needs being met or not, for that matter. And you should be able to list a good few strong things with each one. If you're getting one where you're just clutching and it's a bit weak, then that might need to be an area that you need to work on. Try and fulfill it. And once you consciously recognize that you're weak in a particular area, then of course you can consciously make a plan and do something about it. And that's the great thing about what we're talking about tonight. So dysfunctional behaviors from not having your human needs met can lead to all sorts of problems. Okay. From emotional eating to depression to suicidal thoughts, anxiety, stress, physical illness, okay, can be developed into that as well. So we do need to use this as an opportunity to go through this. And by going through the 6 human needs yourself and writing down whether they're being met or not and how they're being met or not, then you can start to do something about it. And that is a channel for growth for yourself anyway. So straight away, by just doing that, you're going to be triggering your growth. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you how much detail to put into it, because you'll know as you're writing it whether it's weak or whether it's strong, because it's going to be personal to you. And so please do let me know how you get on with it, and add comments, share your stories with people underneath this today, tonight, tomorrow, whenever you decide to do it, so that people can see that they're not alone. They can see where they, get ideas from what you do. So if you write down your 6 human needs and the things that are being met, the things that aren't being met, and copy and paste it into the comments below, if you're brave enough to. Of course, you don't have to. Then, of course, you can share it with other people, and other people will see, that they're not alone. It's very rare that you get all your 6 human needs met all the time. Let's face it, I'm not going to go too personal here right now. I'm sure you'd love me to, but I'm not. But I'm in a thankful position where my job meets a lot of these, my wife meets a lot of these needs, and apart from being able to not be able to hug people, not be able to shake hands, not being able to connect with people, but that's hopefully going to change soon. And for me, I'm going to make sure that as soon as I'm allowed to, I'm going to be doing it. Meeting people for coffee, etc. So please do. That is more or less it. So if you've got any questions, please do ask away. I was hoping someone would join me on Zoom tonight, because I've worked out how to do the mute all. Thanks to someone last time telling me. Yes, Andy, the more we share on here, the more support we can give each other. Absolutely fantastic. Yes. So please do, whether you do it in a Word document and then copy and paste it into comments afterwards. And so please, people, if you've commented, of course, you'll receive updates of any comments that get added. So if you haven't commented yet and you'd like to, just put in, even if you just put a thumbs up, then because you've commented, Facebook will notify you when someone else comments. All right. So it'll tell you someone else has commented on something you're following, or whatever it says. So please do put thumbs up, anything, any questions. And now these 6 human needs are quite important, and it's something that we don't often realize whether they're being met or not until we actually break them down like this, and go through each one as an individual on a personal level and see if we are actually getting these met or not. Growth is an easy one to fulfill. A lot of people think they haven't got time. I used to think I didn't have time to read books or listen to audios, blah, blah, blah. But then solutions are out there, like the app Blinkist. I'll add the link to it so you can go to it. Now, top tip, if you do decide to use Blinkist, it's for a start, it's cheaper than Amazon Audio. You are unlimited with the amount of books you listen to. If you want to listen to a full audio book, you do have to pay for it. But for the breakdown, the summary versions, the blinks as they call them, once you pay your subscription, that's it. You can listen to as many as you like. Hence why I've listened to nearly 160 in the last 10 months. Just soaking it up like a sponge. So I will add the link for that one shortly so you can see it. But the top tip with that is when you go onto the website, go to the website first, put your details in, but don't pay anything. So they'll have your email address, and then after 2 or 3 days, they'll email you, hopefully with a nice special offer. Because we were in lockdown, I was lucky enough to get an email on day 3 or 4, I think it was, of 40% discount. And then a couple of days later, I got a 50% discount, and I took the 50% discount. I think it's only about £57 a year anyway, but I got it for half the price of that. So worth waiting to make sure that they offer you a discount before you subscribe, okay? And there's loads of learning books on there, from psychology to criminology to health and fitness to anxiety, whatever. There's absolutely tons of stuff on there to learn. And just when I think I'm running out of books to listen to, I find a new subject to get into. And so for loads more books suddenly start showing up. Absolutely brilliant. So for growth, it's an easy one. Got a couple more comments added, so we'll see if there's anything relevant. Of course it's relevant. What am I talking about? Yes, so many people are unaware of the 6 human needs. I was intending on Zoom, but it was quicker and easier on here. No worries, Sarah. I understand that. I might not even notice if you joined anyway. I might not have accepted you because I've been too busy looking at the camera and I've got 2 different split screens going on. Well, I hope you found it interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing your 6 human needs come up and seeing what you've got, what or how they're being met, and or not, and so we can share that. And I'm going to do my own one as well. Okay. Some of them, like I say, you might go through them and see they're a bit weak, and it gives you areas to work on. Straight away, you're going to start ticking the growth box. Okay. Hopefully, with lockdown lifting in the UK here, we're going to start being able to connect with people on a deeper level and a more regular basis. And it's great meeting people on Zoom and things like that, or on Facebook, but it's not the same as having that eye contact, that physicality that you have just being in someone's presence, even if you don't touch them. It's a great feeling. So I'm looking forward to some coffee mornings coming up. So if anybody wants to meet me for coffee, Monday to Thursday mornings, I'm mostly free. Okay, and I'd love to sit and chat with you and talk crap like I do. All right. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of it tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing your six human needs being met. If you don't want to put it on there, but you want to touch base with me, then you can get hold of me through my Facebook, or you can go to my website and email me. Either or is good. My email address is on my Facebook page as well. But please do get in touch. If you want to do it on a personal one-to-one level, that's fine too. And we can have a chat about it. Look forward to it. Okay. Well, I've taken enough time of your Sunday evening. It's almost dark out there now. Mind you, it is 8:15. Isn't it lovely having lighter evenings? Can't wait for some of these weekends coming up when we can get away. So thank you for listening. You take care, and I'll look forward to catching up with you in 3 weeks' time. Or if you've got any subjects you want me to talk about, then please drop me a message, write it in the comments, whatever. If there's anything particular you want to learn about, then let me know. And if I can, I will indulge you. All right. Take care, folks. Good night. Bye.